Ain't no question about it. Yeah, Black History Month, the American descendants of slavery. And I want you to know, Brandon Johnson, I understand what Breakmore's saying about we still on the plantation, but what you're looking at right now, this is what a free Negro look like. And I'm telling you, we're going to get our city back, we're going to stand for our people, we're going to get them out of our communities because they don't deserve to be there.
Dude, this lady right here, man, she completely destroys the Democrat narrative. And I won't even call it their narrative, right? I'll call it their identity politics driven control mechanism. And she destroys it all. And I'm going to prove it to you, right? Because they don't want you, they want you to believe that different people divided along something as arbitrary as color or gender or who you like to screw. They want you to believe that all these people want different things, right? Or have different needs. And that just doesn't make sense. I'm telling you, that is not the case. And it has never, ever been the case, at least dating back to the very, very moment that we all shared the very, very same freedoms, right? We all want the same things. And freedom and public safety are right there at the very, very top of everybody's list. And they are the only things that allow us to pursue all the other things that we all want or need or desire, either collectively or individually, right? And I think one thing I think we can all be sure of that nobody wants is to have millions and millions of people dropped off down the street, and then we have to foot the bill.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm sure everybody knows about a movie, Scarface, right? It's a classic, Al Pacino, right? Everybody knows about that movie. And we focus on the famous lines in that movie. You know, the acting and the hello to my little friend and all that. But it's the beginning of that movie that matters. When those words are coming up on that screen, that's what matters. And those words say, in May 1980, Fidel Castro opened the harbor at Muriel, Cuba, with the apparent intention of letting some of his people join their relatives in the United States. Within 72 hours, 3,000 U.S. boats were headed for Cuba. It soon became evident that Castro was forcing the boat owners to carry back with them not only their relatives, but the dregs of his jails. Of that 125,000 refugees that landed in Florida, an estimated 25,000 had criminal records.
Oh, yeah.
That's what's up. That's what has happened in the United States right now. All this asylum-seeking lie, all this about refugees, no. What's happening is they're emptying out the dregs of their jails into the United States, into our communities. They're junking up our country. And yeah, we feel some kind of way about it because it's our country.
That's right.
It's our country. People like Vasquez and them, look how disrespectful they are. Now you just gave that man a resolution for his father's restaurant. And every time we get up and talk, he's working this room. Look at him. Look at him. But he wants his resolution for his father to be respected. Vasquez, Lopez, all them want their people to be respected, but they can't even give us the dignity. But what we built for them, ain't no question about it. Yeah, Black History Month, the American descendants of slavery. And I want you to know, Brandon Johnson, I understand what Breakmore's saying about we still on the plantation, but what you're looking at right now, this is what a free Negro look like. And I'm telling you, we're going to get our city back, we're going to stand for our people, we're going to get them out of our communities because they don't deserve to be there. Anytime they can't give us 3 lousy minutes of their attention while we sit here and watch y'all give them all kind of money, you watch us. We black out here.
All right.
And we gonna handle our
Black
business.
woman.
You watch that.
Free black
I'm a
lady.
free black woman.
All
This
right.
how we get down.
I love this lady's passion, man. This lady is awesome, man. But damn it, man. As much as I love watching her, how many times do we need to be reminded that we get what we vote for? You know, how many times are we going to vote for the same kind of people and expect a different result? Man, Chicago, I was so proud and I was so hopeful, man, when they sent Lori Lightfoot packing, right? But they replaced her with the super socialist, extra stupid version of the same virtue signaling politician. It's freaking amazing. I mean, what are the odds that someone worse than Lori Lightfoot would exist, also be on the ballot, and then get voted in. I mean, what in the hell? You can't make that stuff up. It's amazing. I mean, and it's not this lady's fault. I don't know who she voted for. I think she's probably too smart to have voted for Brandon Johnson. I'm just making more of a broader point. But my point is, the people that have a stranglehold on these blue cities and states, they will not change. We need to change them ourselves. But anyway, I want to show you this clip instead of the cell phone one because I wanted to show you the look on the mayor's face. He knows that she's right. And here's what she's saying. She's saying that they don't owe anything to his party. Nobody does. She doesn't owe the Democrats anything. And she's saying, if you guys don't handle your business, then we don't need you anymore. And she's not wrong. And I think the look on the mayor's face says what a lot of Democrat politicians are thinking. They screwed up. And they know they screwed up. They screwed up so bad that people in places like Chicago, deep blue strongholds like Chicago and New York, are waking up. And if those people are waking up, honestly, it's over for the Democrats. I don't think that there's anything that they can do to stop it, because if they're waking up, all those people in between, they've been awake for a while.
We're so angry here in Chicago, which has been a Democratic stronghold for most of its eternity. This year, we're working to turn Chicago red. We are so angry with Pritzker and with President Biden and with our mayor that we have decided that we're going to vote Republican this time around. Wow. That's just how angry we are. We are so angry that we are willing and going to turn our backs on the Democratic Party. I sat in some of those city council meetings and I looked at and I watched the aldermen totally disregard the voices of the people. And when I was going down there, we were coming down every week in the hundreds. And what we said did not matter. And when we were talking about changing Chicago's status as a sanctuary city, and keep in mind, we still have a right to do that. Just like Biden has the right to put forth an executive order to change the crisis at the border, Chicago's mayor has the right to put forth an executive order to change Chicago's sanctuary city.
Will he do it?
Of course he will not do it. If he was going to do it, it would have been done. And remember, there was a vote within City Council where the ordinance to change it was strucken down. And the mayor was the deciding vote.
Okay. So I want to play just a little bit. It's actually a clip from your Democratic mayor, Brandon Johnson, just after that City Council meeting yesterday that got pretty chippy. And at the end of the day, he is the one you are counting on in all of this, as you just said. It's his vote. It's his, in those meetings, it's his voice. It's his leadership that matters. Let's watch.
We're grateful that the state and the county is working towards providing more investments, even though we have to have a more substantive conversation about where those dollars will actually go.
So I just have one question. Chicago had a choice after Lori Lightfoot, who was breaking COVID protocols to go get her hair done and all sorts of things. They didn't have to go farther left with Brandon Johnson. Why did you vote for him?
I voted for Brandon Johnson because I knew him. I voted for Brandon Johnson because I thought that he would be good for Chicago. I voted for Brandon Johnson because, really, I didn't do my homework. Because had I done my homework and paid attention to the alliances and who he was with and who groomed him, I would have known better, and I would have voted differently. And that brings me to the challenge of really standing up and not just saying to Chicagoans or Illinoisans, but to all voters in this country, it is time for us to stand up and to vote our self-interest. We vote along party lines, especially as African Americans, and that needs to change. We need to start voting for people who are going to promote our self-interest. And that may not be a Democrat, and it may not be a Republican. It may be an independent candidate. It may be a Green Party candidate. But I think that now we have come to a point in this country where we have to stop marrying ourselves to party, stop voting along ethnic lines, because we're seeing that that is not working for us. And so that is why I will be voting Republican for the first time.
Wow, that is a lot. That's a lot of change. And it only took 3 years with one president to undo what you said, a lifetime of Democratic voting in Chicago, at least for you. Does it make a difference if Republicans come to see you this election cycle and talk about this issue on the ground in Chicago?
I think the Republicans need to come and see us. I think they need to come and talk to us because let me just say this, that the Republican Party has not been spotless. And there are certainly some issues that we would love to discuss with them that I think that we can have some common ground on. Okay. I think that we can agree to be disagreeable on some issues. But yes, this is the perfect time for the Republican Party to come into the city of Chicago, the state of Illinois, and sit down and talk to the people because we are looking for change.
Carter Truss, God bless you. Thank you so much. You put a lot on a lot of people's minds today.
Here's what makes this lady amazing, man. I mean, just listen to everything she actually said right there. Listen to her words. She's just a regular citizen, right? She goes on national TV and admits that she made mistakes, that she trusted the wrong people. I think a lot of us are feeling like that. She says that she's going to need to make dramatic changes if she expects to see different results. How reasonable is that? I mean, nothing makes more sense than that. Why can our politicians not do and say the same thing? What is making them get so dug into these bad and dangerous policies that they can't make a change? You know, what is it that they're so afraid of? I mean, let me know in the comments. What do you think will happen if they make changes that protect their actual constituents? You know, Biden was willing to piss off his radical base by supporting Israel. So why isn't he willing to upset them to support America and protect the border? I mean, it's not like they don't see the results of their failures. They see it. They see every bit of it.
By the way, if you are smart enough, you will know who I am. But you are really not smart enough to know who I am. But soon you're gonna know who I am. Very easy.
Wow, very easy. The entitlement.
No, believe me, I'm much better than that.
The entitlement, guys. Wow.
We'll see soon.
Come back inside live now from Fox. We want to go out to Georgia next as we continue to follow the latest developments here of a person who has been arrested now in the death of a 22-year-old nursing student. That suspect charged in connection with that 22-year-old has been confirmed as an illegal immigrant who's originally from Venezuela. Fox News Digital learning this as of recently. 26-year-old Jose Antonio Ibarra is the suspect who is charged in the murder of nursing student Laken Riley on the University of Georgia campus. He is a Venezuelan national who crossed illegally into El Paso, Texas in September of 2022 and was released into the U.S. via parole. 3 ICE and DH sources told Fox News.
Yeah, so the first guy was probably the most boisterous suspected terrorist in the history of the world. Thank God for Border Patrol and actually tracking that guy down and doing their due diligence. You know, that guy talking about, you will soon know who I am, was actually on the terror watch list, man. And this is how seriously people take our immigration enforcement. Even the terrorists are walking in like they're freaking John Gotti getting off for the third time. I mean, what do you even say to that, right? The other guy I showed you, you already know, just one of the many, many dangerous people who have been invited to come into our country, right? Now, obviously, not everyone is dangerous, right? Not everyone's a terrorist. We all know that. That's reasonable. There are millions of people that really do just desire a better life, you know, just want a little bit of what we have. And I get that. But at what cost? You know, at what cost do we give them that opportunity? You know, what cost is acceptable? How much risk should we be expected to take? And why are we electing people who are ignoring, won't even talk about the actual dangers, right? The only people who can't seem to understand the true consequences of their own virtue signaling really expect you to believe that this problem just doesn't affect you. You know, this isn't a Chicago problem. This isn't an American problem. This is a Texas problem. Somehow all of this is happening because of that pesky, evil, racist, and xenophobic Texas governor.
Illinois has spent more than $1 billion of Chicago tax money already on the people who are there. So the Illinois governor thinks he has the answer to it all. He's blaming Texas.
Abbott willfully planned the arrival of these individuals in locations and at times that would engender the maximum chaos for the city of Chicago. Think about that the next time a politician from Texas wants to lecture you about being a good Christian. They shouldn't leave it to the governor of Texas, who has no goal but to sow chaos and destruction.
So chaos and destruction from the Illinois governor. I mean, what a foolish guy. He can't be serious. He can't actually believe that. But Texas has been dealing with this problem for decades and decades and decades, man. They see 10,000 people a day crossing on some days. And according to the Associated Press, just last month, Texas has only sent 23,000 migrants to Illinois. And they're buckling. They're coming apart. They're calling less than 3 days of Texas border crossers chaos and destruction. I mean, they can't be serious, man. They say they're a sanctuary, but they call providing sanctuary chaos and destruction. I mean, that tells you everything you'll ever need to know about both the seriousness of the problem and the actual level of understanding the average virtue signaling leftist has, right? They really do not understand who is coming, even when you literally show them.
Again, waiting for Border Patrol to pick them up. This is right off of Interstate 8 out here in San Diego County, a main thoroughfare. There was not a single Border Patrol agent out here for hours when I was out here. All these people waiting to be picked up, some from China, some from Turkey, some from Central America. They were just waiting. Now, the number of Chinese have been exploding here at the southern border. This is not normal. Take a look at this graphic right here to put it in perspective. CBP sources telling Fox in the last 4.5 months since October 1st, there have been more than 20,000 Chinese nationals encountered here at our southern border. Compare that to all of fiscal year 2021 when there were only 450 Chinese nationals encountered. That is a more than 4,000% increase in Chinese national encounters in just the last few years, and it is not just from China. Colleague Griff Jenkins caught up with a group of Syrian men out here yesterday.
Do you guys know how difficult it is to even leave China? Anyone who is here illegally from China is doing so because they were allowed to leave China. They were allowed to come here. Our government knows this, and they still allow it to happen. You know, they'll tell you that it's all families, it's all pregnant women, it's all unaccompanied children, as if that's supposed to soften your heart. And you know what? It does. It does soften a lot of hearts. It softens every heart, really. But that's not the accurate truth. That is not the whole truth, at least. And people are starting to understand it. You know, the people who are most affected by everything we see from the border, they're starting to see more and more clearly every day. And the people most affected, they're not the people at the top. You know, they're the same people disproportionately affected by inflation, by energy costs, by crime and violence. Basically, they are the very, very same people who are affected by every other possible Democrat failure. And we need to welcome these people to the land of common sense and make sure that we do everything we can to help them make their lives better, make them make better, more informed decisions moving forward. That is our duty to them. But that should be our goal. That's my goal. That's just my take, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you haven't already, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. I'll see you in the next one.